When weather makes big news, it's common to associate it with a big storm, meaning a strong low-pressure system. But last week's historic ice storm that brought life to a standstill across parts of 8 states from Oklahoma to Kentucky is a perfect example of how you don't need a strong low-pressure system to produce a weather disaster. Now here's the weather map. Last Monday afternoon, an Arctic high had taken over much of the country east of the Rocky Mountains, with northeast winds pushing a front deep into the south. And this was fresh, low-level cold air that was in no hurry to leave. By sunrise Tuesday, those chilly winds had pushed the freezing line at the surface as far south as Dallas, Little Rock, and Nashville. But it was a thin layer of cold air, just a few thousand feet up. Winds were southerly, bringing warmer and very moist air northward on top of that low-level chill. In fact, up at 5,000 feet, the freezing line was much farther north, from western Oklahoma to southern Missouri to northern Kentucky. And in the zone in between, snowflakes that formed in the deep chill higher up would melt as they fell through that layer of above-freezing air, but then freeze when they reached the surface. And that's the recipe for an ice storm. And by Tuesday evening, it was getting ugly as damage reports started to come in due to ice accretion. It's one thing for a power line or tree branches to come down, but it takes one heck of a freezing rain accumulation to bring down whole utility poles. And here's the weather map at that time, superimposed on a radar image. Now there was a weak wave of low pressure along that front, but its lowest pressure was 1,014 millibars, which is right about average sea level pressure. So not a deep low by any standards, but a large temperature gradient existed across that front. At this time, it was 74 in Alexandria, Louisiana, 37 in Texarkana, 150 miles away, 64 Huntsville, Alabama, 31 Bowling Green, Kentucky, on the other side of the front. Now, the National Weather Service uses a color-coded system for weather hazards, everything from winter storm warnings to dense fog advisories. Here's an example from yesterday for the whole country. Now here's a close-up of eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas showing those hazards last Tuesday. And one statement really caught my eye for that county right there that's circled in Oklahoma. A civil emergency message that read, "Emergency managers have requested that all residents of Westville," that's a small town east of Tulsa, "remain indoors. Many downed power lines remain energized and continue to be a significant hazard. Most city streets are inaccessible at this time." In the end, this ice storm caused more power outages than Hurricane Ike did. Kentucky's governor said it was the worst natural disaster in the history of his state. And meteorologically, it was a powerful lesson in how the atmosphere can create huge disruption without the benefit of a strong low-pressure system. Paul's back with the extended forecast next.